friends, and welcome back to the cabin. Yeah, I'm sporting a new look right here. I was getting tired of wearing that beard all the time, so I figured I'd shave it off, and then after I did, I thought, you know what? You are ugly. So we may grow it back. I don't know. We'll see. But I'll tell you what, the storm that we had, or those storms, let me put it that way, plural, one right after the other, and we were expecting snow tomorrow. So I think that was the fourth or fifth. I've lost track now because we've had so many. But you talk about some high winds. They were gusts up to 54 miles per hour. I showed you a little bit of that in the beginning, but it was raining and wind, and I couldn't keep the door. I had to actually lock it from the inside because it was wanting to suck it out. And so I tried to get you a little bit of video there, but if you've watched the news, you've seen the destruction that's happened not only in Tennessee, but Kentucky, Virginia, West Virginia, and places like that. People dead, homes destroyed. Just a tragedy. You know, kind of the same thing North Carolina went through about, what, 6 months ago, 5 months ago now? Anyway, the solar panels, I wanted to talk to you about that. I watched these solar panels through the window up there during the storm, and I thought, you know, I don't believe that the frame is going to go anywhere. If anything would happen, I may have some solar panels fly off, but they actually stayed and withstood those wind gusts. So I think we did a really good job installing it. I came down here to inspect it. It really didn't appear like anything was moved. Everything is still dead in line, as you can see. Looking at the back of it, checking out the wiring, everything still seems to be intact, just like it was before the storm hit. So I'm really happy that we spent the time and we went through the extra motions of everything to secure these solar panels down. I think that this lip right here resting, where the solar panels actually rest on it, helped a lot. Using these great big washers right here, I believed, helped out. But that was one of my fears, that I was going to lose the solar right after I got it put in there. The other thing too is I looked at the concrete, and it doesn't even appear like anything was moving, you know, and I say, you know, doing this number right here because there wasn't even any dirt loosened. So we all said a big amen, hallelujah, and, you know, raising our hands in victory because the solar panels didn't move, and I was really proud of that. Didn't actually lose any trees. We did have some trees down over by the church that fell across the road, but over in here I haven't seen any as of yet that came down, so I was very thankful that we didn't lose any of those too. I will show you one tree that I did cut down just before the big high winds. I'm standing right behind the outhouse right here. There was a big pine tree that was standing right here that was very crooked. The top of it was kind of leaning towards me, which would have been facing the solar panels, but the majority of it was kind of leaning downhill towards Jennifer's. And I went ahead and cut that just before those high winds. Right down there you can see the butt of it, and that's it laying right there. Like, we got bags stuck in the trees and everything, but you can see how crooked this tree is right here. That'd make a good handrail, because you know I love working with crooked wood. But yeah, that I went ahead and cut it down because I didn't want it, you know, swaying and then possibly falling over that way and taking out those solar panels. So that would make a really good handrail for something. For what, I don't know. So that remains to be seen yet. But I'm glad that I cut it down, because those high winds could have very well have taken it down, and we didn't need that to happen. Especially, like I said, since we just got that solar put in. So I mentioned before that I think my priorities are going to change just a little bit. I think what I'm going to do is start on a storm/root cellar where I'll be able to get inside of it, you know, the dogs, and since Jennifer's moving up here, they would be able to get into it as well. My sister has her own root cellar, needs to be cleaned out, but she does have one, and that's where I've been going. Last year, I believe the year before that, and I went up there this year when we had those two tornadoes that were actually crossing paths. And I've got some video. I don't know how it didn't get in the last Outpost video, but I've got a photo, I should say, of some hail that is golf ball size. I'll show you right here. That was from the storm that came through when the tornadoes were actually here. Anyway, this area right behind me where I was going to put the root cellar, I think what I'm going to do is when they come up to do Jennifer's landscaping, I'm going to have them dig that back just a little bit farther, because if I do build a root cellar and I do put some, you know, like some cots and some chairs and things like that, I may need a little bit more room so that we could actually be comfortable if we did have to spend the evening in there. But I think that that's going to be the priority that's going to trump me wanting to put the back porch on. And I still need to finish the workshop down there, get the siding on it, even though I don't have any floors in it yet. I do need to get the siding put on it so that, you know, wind and rain doesn't blow in and get anything else, you know, start rotting anything else or knocking things over and tearing things up. But this is where I plan on putting the storm shelter, and I want it back far enough where I can cover it up with dirt easily. Now I've got quite a bit of dirt right there, but I want all except the front face underground. So if I dig it back a little bit farther, I won't have to build like a big wing on the side to hold too much of the dirt. I'll have to do a little bit, but that's the idea that I've got planned for this right here. Now that we've got the solar, I can actually run a wire from the house, bury it out here where I can have a light out here. You know, if it was wintertime like it is now, I could actually have, you know, a small heater in there that would be electric, or I've got like a, what do you call them, gas buddy or heat buddy, whatever they are, has little butane tanks on the side. I could use that. But yeah, we need a place to go in the event that we have big storms like we've been having for the last 3 and 4 years now. I'll tell you what, folks, things are changing, and we need to be, because when I was growing up here as a kid, you never heard about a tornado. I moved to Texas, lived in Tornado Alley. Come back here, been back here since 93, 92, and haven't had any issues up until the last, say, 5 years. The weather patterns are changing, so I need to take care of building a place that we don't have to worry about losing life, basically. You know, we could lose everything that we have up here, but as long as nobody's hurt, that's the main thing. So I need to fix it where I can, you know, have the ability to, like I say, be able to be comfortable in there in case we have to spend several hours. Because the night that the tornadoes came, I stood in my sister's root cellar because it's got so much stuff in there, but I stood there for an hour and a half with a dog, because the red dog, she wanted to lay on the front porch, I guess, maybe thinking that they were going to feed her or something. But the black dog stayed with me. I think he could tell something wasn't right, because he would walk to the front door, he would look, and then he would back in. And he'd go back up there again, look, and he'd back in. And I told him, I said, it's not right, is it? And he would just, you know, kind of lick his lips and want me to pet him. But we need a place to go so that we don't have to worry about, you know, taking off and running off somewhere. Because the thing was, the trees were swaying so bad. And the whole sky, 360 degrees, was lit up. And there are some big trees at the end of my driveway on the other side of the road. One of them has to be at least 100 feet tall. It's dead. It's a pine. It's pretty much lost all of its limbs. When it comes down, it's going to take out the power line down there, which is the one Jennifer's going to be hooked up on. So something needs to be done with that. But when I was in the truck heading over to my sister's house to get in the root cellar, I was watching that thing, and I thought, if it starts to fall, I'm just going to have to gun it and try to get past it, because I know at some point it's going to come down, and it's not on my property. So but it will have to be taken care of at some point, like I say. Anyway, so that's going to be one of the projects that I'm going to be working on that you'll probably see this year, is a storm shelter where I can store, you know, fruits and vegetables, things like that, and also get out of bad weather when it does happen. Well, you can see where the outdoor kitchen took just a little bit of a hit, but not too bad. Anytime we have high winds, I always think about it lifting this roof off. Even though we've got it anchored pretty good, it could still, I mean, in the news they had, where was it? Can't remember what state, it may have been Arkansas, where a roof had been lifted off of a building. I don't know if it was a house, garage, or whatever, but anytime anything is open like that, it's just like a bird's wing. You know, it can get up underneath there and lift. So I think about that, and the only remedy for that, I guess, would be to try to maybe tie those beams down with some strapping, you know, that goes up and over the top and comes down and bolts in from the side, which I could find some you know, like 1/8 inch material, bend it and do that. So that might be something that I think about doing. And I also thought it was quite funny. Somebody said that I know that you're capable of building a canoe, and that's something that you might need, kind of like you might need to think about it with all this rain and flash flood warnings. And I thought, you know, they're probably fairly new and haven't watched the channel, because I have one. And we've made a few videos where my son and I were out paddling around the lake and doing a little bit of fishing. So I do have a canoe that I can use in the event that we have a flash flood and I'm not able to cross with the truck. I could always, you know, get in the canoe and ride it across and finish walking the rest of the way. But yeah, we got a canoe, so there's no worries about not being able to get out of here in a flash flood. The other thing that I wanted to mention, that actually grew up, and a lot of those vines pulled that over, and then high winds took care of the rest of it. But I think what I'm going to do is, I'm thinking about at some point, probably not this year, I probably won't mess with that because I've got so much to do, that I may go ahead and build a frame and get some of those 16-foot cattle panels and build like a greenhouse. That way, when I do start growing garden again, because I've still got some canned foods from 2 years ago that Jennifer put up that I haven't ate, because, you know, I'm the only one here and we put up quite a bit. So I think that I can build a greenhouse there, because actually with a greenhouse I can start earlier and I can still have garden in there later, as opposed to it being out in the wide open. Not really sure how that's going to work out yet, but I am thinking about putting a greenhouse there. That way I can take down some of that deer fencing, because as the years go by it gets more and more brittle, and then it can break very easily, and that stuff was very expensive. So that's what I'm thinking about doing in one of my other projects. Well, friends, I came in. I'm going to have to heat the house up just a little bit. I've been gone this morning getting chicken feed and things of that nature, and some parts for that electrical box in there so that I can wire in that other lightning arrestor that we have. But I thank you so much for stopping by. Patrick, Jennifer, and myself, thank you so much, and we look forward to seeing you back up here at the cabin again next time.